Hi, so you all know Valentine's Day is in a couple of days, and that's why we are doing a Valentine's Day craft video. So rather than giving somebody a card that's going to sit in a keepsake box under their bed for years, or collect dust in a closet, or maybe you're a weirdo and you like to hang all your cards on the wall in your living room, I don't know, or chocolates that are going to melt, flowers that are going to die, how about let's give somebody something very special that's homemade and that they can keep forever. This is not just a little heart, it is a box. But not just a box, it's a glowing box. Yeah, that's awesome. So, as you can see, that's a cute heart that glows. And we got a little lid for it. So it can be a box too. So yes, I do believe that this is going to be a lot better than a traditional Valentine's Day gift. And I feel like you probably think so too. So let's just get into it. What you're going to need for this craft is, once again, popsicle sticks, your handy dandy gun for glue, and fairy lights, which you can get at a Dollar General or Dollar Tree for $1. Right now they've got seasonal lights for Valentine's Day, and they are red, which is how I got my heart to glow red. Ooh. But the ones that I found had little hearts on them that just pop right off. So just pull all the hearts off so that way I can fit this into the heart-shaped box. So let's just get to it. Happy Valentine's Day. We're actually going to be starting off making the bottom part of our heart box, this one here. And as you can see, I did leave quite a few good-sized cracks in between these popsicle sticks. And I did that on purpose so that way a lot of the light can shine through in the box. And it actually looks kind of cute that way. So, once you get 11 popsicle sticks lined up like this, you can go ahead and take a 12th popsicle stick and kind of use it to put a few spaces between these here. You can make the spaces a little bit wider in the middle, but don't make them all too wide. Because with popsicle stick number 12, we're going to be gluing it down across all of them, and you want to make sure that it actually can go across every single one. Okay, and now once we get them spaced out enough to where we want to do it and we glue our popsicle stick across, we'll get something like this where it's attached to all of them and there's some spaces there. And we'll flip it over, take a pencil, and go ahead and draw a heart on there. And if you don't really know how to draw a good heart all that well, or you just don't want to draw one, you can also go online and print a heart off and just glue it down to this, or trace it. And drawing a heart on here is not very easy either, because the popsicle stick in the middle on the back that's attached to all these will makes this kind of teeter and totter, and it also, these are like really easily separable. So you're not going to get a perfect heart anyway, but that's okay, because this is actually not going to turn out all that great looking once we start cutting it, because yeah, we're going to be cutting our heart shape out. I had started cutting most of this out, and you'll see here that the point of my popsicle stick kind of broke off whenever I was cutting it. So I am going to hot glue it back on. This is a little bit tedious, this part, because as you will find, cutting through 2 layers of popsicle sticks is super challenging no matter how sharp your scissors are. So if you find that your wood is chipping, your sticks are chipping and cracking in different areas and sticks are just falling off, just don't get frustrated with it and apply a little bit of glue and glue it back together and just keep going, because this is going to happen a lot in this craft. Now I've gotten to the part where I have to cut around the top, and once again it's hard to cut through that second layer of popsicle stick, but also I cut out my first rounded edge here at the top of my heart and it fell off. So I wanted to go ahead and mention that will happen. We have to glue that to the second stick, and I just forgot to mention that before, so I just want to let you know that, because this kind of stuff can make it pretty frustrating, but don't get frustrated with it. And see, that one came off too. because it's gonna turn out looking great at the end. It's just gonna seem like while we're working there, it's gonna seem like it's falling apart, but it's not. So just bear with it and keep going, because it'll turn out great. It'll just not look so great while you're doing it sometimes. Like, see, mine just fell all apart again. So I'm gonna go ahead and just snap these off too. And I don't even know what order these sticks will go in, but I'm gonna figure it out. By gum. Probably actually going to make it easier now that those other sticks aren't there, to go ahead and cut the point of the heart out. So, and yes, it does make it much easier. So I'm going to do that. Okay, now I can cut the point into the stick that fell off. Perfect. Not really. Okay. And since this did fall off, I'm going to glue it back on here. And the rest of these that fell off, I will glue to this top part. Okay, so after working with it and cutting and gluing the pieces that fell apart back together, you'll get a heart. And as you can see, it's not a pretty heart. Mine isn't. Yours might be. But there's quite a lot going on with it that makes it kind of funny shaped. But that's fine, because once we get to working on the rest of the box, it'll kind of line it up and make it look a lot better. And the next part I think we should work on will be the lights. So actually the lights I got for my first box are these seasonal Valentine's Day ones from Dollar Tree. They got these little hearts on them, but I took them all off. And the cool thing about these is that I can use them for another project, because the little holes in them fit over any kind of light. They fit over Christmas lights, so it's awesome. So yeah, anyway, I took all the hearts off of the lights so that they would fit in between the popsicle sticks the way I wanted them to. And I was actually pretty silly and didn't buy 2 of these whenever I had the chance, and now they were sold out, so I'm stuck with using these Christmas ones for this video heart. So my heart gets to be green this time, which is awesome because green's my favorite color anyway. In your top part of your box, you'll see there's a flip switch here for on and off. And there's a screw, and once you undo that, it'll open up this part for you to put the batteries in the compartment, 2 AA batteries. Alright, so you want to make sure that this stays upwards, the screws on the top, that sort of thing. And what we're going to do now is take a regular size popsicle stick and cut the ends off to where it's a straight stick on both sides. And be careful, because these things go flying. And I'm going to glue my stick like this on the edge. To block the battery compartment, so that way that can still be opened. I don't want to glue anything to that. I want this to be down kind of low. I don't want to glue it to the bottom either, because this little space between this stick and the bottom of this box here is going to be where we put the lights. So just make sure you put it along the edge, kind of halfway down or so. And this is not on very straight, and I want to try to make it as straight as possible. So I'm going to redo that. Now that you've done that and you've got it like this, where there's 2 sticks on both sides and they're only in the middle of the box, leaving your top part up, we're going to go ahead and get some glued to the back. Not to the side where there's a cord and a switch, but to the side that's blank. And I don't want to use full-size sticks because I know I'm not going to need them to be that long, so I don't really want to waste those. I'm going to take some half-cut sticks and just cut the curved edge off of one side because the other side doesn't have curved edge. And I'm going to glue them across like this. Starting here, lining it up with the edge of this stick and this one, glue it like that, and to the back of the box. And you can see that even if you line it up really well against the edge of the stick in the box, if you straighten it out, there's going to be like little gaps. And the gaps are fine, so don't get too overwhelmed by those. Just make sure that you glue them across as well as you can. So I got these across, and I've got another little gap here that a full stick won't fit into. So what I'll do is I'll line it up the best that I can against the edge, and it's probably okay if I just glue it like that, but if you're OCD like me, you're going to want to line it up and kind of trace the extra out so that you can cut it to fit perfectly in that little gap. Voila. Perfect fit. It was really kind of satisfying doing that. Anyway, so you got this. That's as far as we're going to take that for now. Set it over to the side. Pull out your first heart that you just made. Another 11 popsicle sticks. Line them all up like you did the first time. Just like so. And we're going to take this heart and put it on here and trace it out. Except this time we're going to leave the sticks pressed together, and we're going to try to make this heart a lot bigger. So I'm going to hold this down and kind of just, it's a little bit hard too because your sticks are going to slip and slide everywhere since they're not glued to anything. So just try to hold the ones that you're drawing on. And I'm going to go out about 1 centimeter and trace it that way. If you find that you need to add an extra popsicle stick for the point for this bigger sized heart, then go ahead and do that. Should not be a problem at all. Okay, so basically the point in tracing this one was to make sure this one that we are going to do is bigger. So it really doesn't have to be perfect. And after that, we're not going to glue another stick across them like we did for the other one because this is going to be the lid. And we're actually just going to glue every single piece together. So it might be easiest for you to go ahead and number each one of these so that way you know which stick goes where as you cut them out. Otherwise, you can just cut them out one by one and glue them to each other as you cut them. Either way, you'll end up having to make some alterations and some trimmings in order to make it look okay at the end, so whatever you decide to do, it should be fine. I am going to go ahead and just cut and glue. So for this first stick with the 2 bumps of the heart, it's going to be 2 pieces, just like before with that heart that we made for the bottom part of the box. I was cutting this one out here. I don't know if you can see or not, but it did split pretty bad in the middle. Well, it didn't actually fall apart until I just did that. But the point being is that if this happens to you, just go ahead and glue the 2 pieces back together. So that way you've got a full bump. And it's okay if it's like spaced out because it actually gives it a little more, it gives it a better look whenever it's got a little bit of a gap. So now that I've got these cut out and I've glued the split parts together, I'm going to glue them to the next stick, lining them up where I drew the parts of the heart, and then I will cut that out as well. So now I'm going to continue to cut down for the end part of my point and around to finish off the two bumps of my heart. So now I have this, and next I'm going to glue it to the next popsicle stick here and just cut down again. Now, so for the rest of this, I have to just keep cutting back and forth. So I'll pull this up, glue this to it, cut, and then cut, and then glue this one, cut, and cut, and I'm going to be doing that all the way down to the point. So I've actually decided that I do not like how this part turned out, and I'm going to just remake it by putting these sticks to the side and getting 4 new ones out like so. And then I'm going to line this up with it and trace out what I do like about it, which and so now I've definitely got something that I like a lot better than what I had. So if you have your top part cut out and you're not exactly thrilled with it, go ahead and make a new top part if you want, and set this part to the side because there's always some other project that you can use it for. I don't really think we should try to waste anything. We should try not to waste as much as possible. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of my popsicle sticks and cut it the rest of the way into a heart shape. And now I've got my heart piece done. So here's what we have so far. A littler heart with the stick on the back, a bigger heart with no stick on it, and then our light box with a few sticks glued around it. So what I went ahead and did was I took my heart that had the popsicle stick on the back and I glued it to the back of this. Made sure that the screw was still on the top, and you just want to take your box and fit it onto your heart the best way you can so that the heart will hide the box. And then after that I cut these sticks around it to line up with the heart the best as possible. I don't want to cut it away to hide it because I need it to line up with this edge so that way I can put the wall up around there, and that's going to help hold in the cord whenever we start twisting it around, which is actually what we're going to be doing right now. So you can go ahead and start twisting your cord around. Now I've wrapped this around about as much as I think I can. So I'm going to start putting the rest of these in this section here just by I don't know, it's kind of squishing them in there. Sort of like that. But before I do that, I'm going to let them hang loosely and go ahead and add more sticks from this side of the box up so that way it lines up with the heart, and I've got the roof, I guess if that's what you want to call it, to this part done. And I'm going to take my scissors now and trim it to where it lines up with the edge of the heart here. So you can see I added the popsicle sticks across to the edge here, and I added some up here to kind of smooth it out so that way it lines up just about as good as it can, and all the way down to here. You can see right here at the end I didn't add any yet, but we can go ahead and do that now too. Just kind of glue some on the popsicle sticks just down to make a point, but make sure you're not covering up this section here. So for instance, I will take this and probably just add it like right here underneath, and then add another one right here to make it a point. So as you can see, I went ahead and added right here and right here so that way it makes a point, but I did leave a good gap here so that way my cord can go under and tuck between the 2 layers of sticks, 2 hearts. And now I'm going to wrap it around and around. I'm going to probably wrap it around maybe twice, and as the lights pop out like this, I'm going to like tuck them in if I can. I can't do that here, so I'm going to try to bend it the other way. And that's where it's gonna fit, right there. I'm gonna go around with these next strand here. Okay, so I've gone around twice now. I don't know if I'll be able to fit any more going around another time, so I'm gonna stop there and go ahead and start tucking the rest of them between these two flaps where there's more space. The reason I wanted to put this on is because it does help keep these in while we glue together the edge. So next I'm going to take popsicle sticks, probably from my little scrap bin I have here, and I'm going to lay them across because this is a perfect popsicle stick width right here. I'm gonna lay them across like this and just glue it all the way around the entire thing. Now I've started from this side adding them, and I'm gonna try to go around this and continue going this way, because if you go here and block all this off before you get your lights inside there, you're not gonna be able to get them in there later unless you take it back apart. So start with the shallow side and just go across, leaving yourself enough space that you can put your lights back inside if you've moved them. And that way you can get that taken care of without having to worry about it later. So after you've got that done and it's going all the way around, your heart should look like this. The next thing we're going to do is take our half cut sticks and cut off the rounded end of them. Bam. These things really do fly all over the place. Let's set up some pop cans, do some target practice, get really good at it. Then you've got yourself a craft weapon, a craftin'. Pew! Pew pew! Bam! Okay. Now we're going to take these and glue them onto here, going upways like that. And this will be next to it. You want to try to make sure they're about the same length, but they're not all going to be. And if they're like just barely taller or shorter, I really wouldn't worry about that being too much of a problem. So I got this side done already right here, and as you can see, there are a lot that are uneven and have some pretty jagged edges, so it's not really a big deal if they're not significantly bigger, but I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and trim along this to kind of even them out a little bit at least. So now I just have to add the rest of the box down here, and then we will get to finishing up the lid. And voila, there we go. Something that you've probably noticed by now is that this is really wobbly, and a very quick fix for that is just flip it over, take a little piece of a stick, such as this, and just glue it to the end. Just kind of give it a little foot over here so that way it won't wobble or teeter-totter back and forth. Take a few of your trimmings that are on your table from all that cutting and use it to do that. If it's still wobbling, then just add a little more. So next we're going to get our lid, and we're going to make it to where it'll stay on our box without sliding around or falling off. So how you're going to do that is you're going to put it on top here and try to decide which side you think is going to be the best fit. or which side you want to be up on the top. And after you've done that, you're going to take more pieces like this of your sticks and glue them on sideways like this. Don't glue them to the edge. You want them to be kind of in the middle, so that way it gives enough room for the edge of your box to line up with the edge of your lid, and this will just hold it in place. But we're going to do this all the way around the entire heart. And once you've completed that, you'll get something like this, and I'm going to test it out and see if it'll fit on my box. And you might have to like wiggle it a little bit, but it doesn't quite fit too well, so I've got to make a few alterations to it to get it to go on there exactly. And voila! Now all that's left to do is decorate it. Just keep in mind, if you use paint to color it, the paint will seep into the cracks between your popsicle sticks and block some of the light from coming through, so it won't be as bright whenever you turn it on. And then there's something else I wanted to show you guys. This is just a bottle with water and popsicle sticks in it. And the reason that I've got these popsicle sticks and water is because there's some pretty cool things that you can do with them while they're wet. And we'll get into more of that later on in the season. But they are a lot easier to cut when they're wet. I wouldn't recommend getting all your popsicles wet and then cutting them up for your heart box, because hot glue doesn't really stick to water very well. But if you take and cut at the end here, you'll get this little teardrop shape. See? And you want to measure that out with the next end. So just stick it on there to where it lines up and cut across again to get two teardrop shapes the same size. And that helps also to keep your wood from splitting so much. But now that I've got these, if I put them together, it makes a little heart. I don't know how well that's visible on my camera, but you can cut little hearts and stuff out like that and maybe glue them to the top of your box. Or just glue them around the box. You can even do little flowers. You can make little petals out of these and that sort of thing. So it's just a really cool trick for you to know. I hope that you've enjoyed making your heart-shaped boxes as much as I've enjoyed showing you how to make them. And if you like these and want to see more videos like this, or want to make more things like this, then please like, subscribe, and share my videos with the world. Thank you so much.